It's not just another day in your life. Things are changing for the better. At Comcast, we see those changes, and we're thinking about how we use technology today to live, work, learn, and play. And we're building for the future now, so we're better prepared for the wants and needs of tomorrow. That's why Comcast is rolling out multi-gig internet speeds to more than 50 million homes and businesses before the end of 2025, making our already industry-leading network even faster, smarter, greener, and more reliable. Over the decades, Comcast has been your partner, working hard to serve your community, and will continue to be your partner. We're expanding our gigabits, so you can enjoy the tiny bits that matter most.
Want your boss to put some real action behind the rhetoric when they talk about making your workplace more inclusive? Find out how to hold their feet to the fire and demand diversity on the Diversity Dude podcast.
Hello there, and welcome back to the Diversity Dude podcast. I'm your host, Lambert Fisher, marriage and family therapist, award-winning author, and national speaker on the topic of multicultural awareness and diversity. And for those of you who are interested in even more positive and encouraging tips and strategies beyond what I share in podcasts like this, then feel free to check out my award-winning book, Diversity in Clinical Practice, nationally recognized for the unique way in which it addresses the often difficult topic of multicultural awareness and diversity, designed for more than just therapists. If you're a helping professional in any way, Diversity in Clinical Practice can help you meet the greatest variety of cultural needs possible for those whom you serve. And it's available in paper and audiobook versions for your convenience. And if you hadn't heard of it yet, I invite you to visit TED.com and check out my talk called What to Do When You Offend Someone, where I offer a practical perspective on how to navigate unintentional offenses in daily life. To date, it's been viewed almost 500,000 times. Check it out for yourself. And if you're encouraged as well, share it with a friend. And whether it be through my one-on-one relationship building efforts as a therapist or my informing and empowering efforts as an author or speaker, know that my personal mission is to do my part to improve the world one strengthened relationship at a time. So today I want to share with you an encouraging perspective on the risk of removing the E in DEI. So if you haven't heard it yet, the Society for Human Resource Management, the world's largest professional association for human resources management, has decided that they will be adopting the acronym IND instead of IEND or DEI. The motivation for this change, they say, is to underscore their commitment to leading with inclusion as the catalyst for holistic change in workplace and society. They added that by emphasizing inclusion first, they aim to address the current shortcomings of DE&I programs, which have led to societal backlash and increasing polarization. Now, on one hand, I appreciate change and growth in general, especially when time and experience reveal that something that was a good idea at one point is no longer a good or beneficial idea moving forward, justifying an upgrade to what would be more accurately a representation of your values and goals. Sounds great. However, on the other hand, I have to admit that I'm finding it difficult to get on board with this latest HR leading trend when it comes to deprioritizing the E for equity and diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, let me be clear. I'm the last one to put an emphasis on the importance of letters in an acronym. As a matter of fact, in a previous podcast, feel free to go check it out, I described how many organizations get really creative when it comes to acronyms surrounding diversity, equity, and inclusion. Many starting with DEI, but then adding a B for belonging, an A for accessibility, a J for justice. I'm a firm believer that the abundance of insufficiently met needs can justify a lot more letters if desired. However, the goal is never about the right amount of letters, which ones are included or which ones are excluded. Instead, the question becomes, no matter what letters are chosen, what values are promoted and what impact does it have on the people within the organization, as well as those who are served, otherwise impacted outside of the organization? Which is where I find myself when learning about SHRM's recent decision. After all, they are not only the ones making decisions like this. Large and small companies and organizations alike are making similar decisions around the country, trying to rebrand DEI in a way that keeps the good and leaves the bad, leaves the scary, leaves the polarizing somehow. So then I asked myself, how does removing the E for equity out of DEI, resulting in IND, inclusion and diversity programs and policies, solve anything at all? Now, based on their statement or explanation, their goal was to emphasize inclusion first and address the current shortcomings of DEI programs, which has led to societal backlash and increasing polarization. All right. The shortcomings they're reportedly referring to is the association of DEI with quotas and affirmative action and biased hiring practices. However, I'm still not clear how equity is deemed the source of any of those problems, or even if they're problems at all. First of all, despite how what many people may fear, when effectively executed, affirmative action is not about prioritizing skin color over identifying and hiring qualified job candidates. Instead, it's about requiring organizations to hire based on an acknowledgement of a variety of beneficial contributions candidates may have to offer, rather than being biased toward those in leadership and what they already are most familiar with, and being biased against those which they are not familiar with. Equity is about taking intentional steps to ensure that there's equal opportunity to be seen and supported, including making up for barriers outside of that person's control. And here's where things get really tricky, and often where emotions get stirred up. Because of all the letters and acronyms to be removed, removing equity is akin to removing the letter that is most associated with action and accountability. You see, you can make an organizational effort to increase the D for diversity, awareness, and appreciation, and it's stay an intellectual activity if done in that way, with no action behind it, unfortunately, allowing them to maintain the status quo without guilt because we are becoming more aware of diversity needs. Or you can make an organizational effort to value inclusion, but it merely mean that if someone who doesn't look like us finds a way to act like us and gain the experiences that we already value and show that they can get on board with the existing program without rocking the boat with new ideas, then sure, we'll be happy to include you too. You who may look different but otherwise make us feel uncomfortable with the way things are with little changes possible. So you can intellectualize diversity unintentionally or intentionally. You can intellectualize inclusion unintentionally. Both ineffective ways of using those words, but they could do so in a way that keeps them consistent with their policy and have no practical impact whatsoever. However, the equity with equity, it's virtually impossible to talk a good equity game without backing it up with meaningful action. The goal of all three, by the way. Sometimes it's about ensuring that certain company or opportunities are not limited to those with a certain level of financial capital, but instead it's accessible to anyone willing and capable of doing the job well, avoiding socioeconomic biases in this case. Sometimes it's about ensuring that certain company opportunities are not limited to a certain level of physical abilities, especially if physical labor is not a part of the job description, but instead ensuring that there are equal physical access to all the physical locations necessary to advance and excel in the job, rather than conclude that due to differing physical abilities, they might not be capable of contributing effectively, avoiding differing ability biases. All that to say, it's important to remember that diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, is more than just an incomplete acronym. It's about the impact the letters have on day to day efforts of each organization or company that declares them. I have never been impressed by the mere existence of a company's DEI program, their policies and procedures, or the creatively titled DEI, A, B, J task force they may have. Instead, I'll be impressed by seeing the impact these policies and these task force and these acronyms have on the people within the organization. Those at the top, those at the bottom, and everywhere in between. Does everyone feel seen? Does everyone feel heard? Does everyone feel included? Does everyone feel like they have equal access to opportunities for success and advancement in the organization, provided that they're willing to work hard at it? If so, I don't care what acronyms you choose, what acronyms you keep, what acronyms you take away. They can take any letter away that they want, especially if they feel that it's less understood if they keep it or it's polarizing. The acronym is just a beginning branded title, letting people know what to look for on a practical way on a daily basis. That matters more than the letters. However, if the organization is not having this impact on everyone in the organization, if the acronym represents nice words meant to look good, but hopefully pacify everyone into acceptance of the way things are, even if many feel left out, ignored, pushed down, or unfairly minimized, then that's where the change needs to occur. My hope for you is that you will be able to appreciate DEI and related acronyms for what they are, initial representations of what a company is seeking to cultivate within every professional relationship inside and out. Don't love or fear the letters, but be willing to inquire further when changes like this occur, asking, are you deleting a misunderstood or polarizing letter, but still valuing the need to provide equal opportunities within the organization? Or are you no longer interested in valuing equity and those negatively impacted by historical as well as present inequalities within your organization and beyond? One conversation at a time. I hope you're able to contribute to a healthier environment and a healthy conversation that makes meaningful change, no matter what letters ultimately represent it. And with that, I'll say thanks again for listening in to today's Diversity Do podcast. If you have any pressing diversity related questions that you'd like me to address on an upcoming podcast, or if your organization is in need of a shame free and empowering guest speaker or training on this often sensitive topic, then feel free to reach out to me directly at www.diversitymadesimple.com. And if you know of anyone else who can benefit from a positive and encouraging perspective on this often difficult topic of diversity, then feel free to send them a link to this podcast so they can be encouraged as well. Or share with them my award-winning book, Diversity in Clinical Practice, available at Amazon.com. And don't forget to visit TED.com and check out my talk on what to do when you offend someone. I hope it inspires you and that you share it with someone so they can be inspired as well. And as usual, I look forward to addressing as many topics as possible in future podcasts to help you improve as many relationships as possible at work, at home, and in your community. And as always, remember this. You don't need to know everything about everyone in order to have a positive impact on someone. Thank you all for tuning in, and have a great day.
Tune in each week and find out how to demand and implement diversity at your job. To hear more, check out previous Diversity Dude shows on ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com.
You know Shaletta makes you laugh, but did you know Shaletta Brundage can also make you think and boost your business? Media personality, activist, and comedian Shaletta Brundage founded Shaletta Makes Me Laugh to celebrate and share the best of Black culture. It's a podcasting platform. You can download 10 weekly podcasts hosted by African American subject experts at ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com is also a production house, creating broadcast-quality commercial content. And Shaletta and her team of storytellers create powerful promotional campaigns to get businesses the brand awareness they're looking for. Some of Minnesota's top businesses trust Shaletta, and you can too. Get out the word about your events and products and get in front of communities of color with ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com. She's got the power to help your business.
In this job, I challenge myself and grow.
At Lutheran Social Service of Minnesota, Kelly makes a difference.
We see people, not disabilities. I'm here for them.
Lutheran Social Service is now hiring direct support professionals to work in our homes and empower people in our community. The work is rewarding, and so are the benefits. Full-time direct support professionals receive medical, dental, and vision plans, matched retirement savings, paid time off, and more.
LSS is a great organization. They recognize my talents and my desire to grow.
Kelly has advanced to a job as a training specialist, working with new employees to prepare them to support people with disabilities.
We're neighbors helping neighbors. So do work that matters. Grow with us.
Find your meaningful career at Lutheran Social Service, named a top workplace by employees. Learn more at lssmn.org/immediate openings. Ask about the hiring bonus. You might be eligible for up to $2,000.
If you live in an older home, it may contain lead-based paint on walls, woodwork, and windows. Even more bad news, lead exposure can be dangerous to young children and impact their brain development. And now, the good news. Hennepin County will fix lead hazards in your home at no cost to you.
We were worried because of the paint in the windows in the bedroom. They were peeling and chipping, and we know that when paint peels and chips and it looks a certain way, that's possibly lead. We were worried for our children more so than anything.
Eligible homes can qualify for up to $15,000 in upgrades. You may even qualify for new energy-efficient windows. Don't worry, Hennepin County has a trusted list of pre-approved contractors. You won't even have to find companies with correct licenses or certifications.
I've just done a test and it's positive. So we know that this is lead-based paint, and then we know it's a hazard because it's creating dust every time this window moves and opens. And if you look in here, that's just full of lead paint chips.
You won't have to stay with your cousin while you're getting the lead out. Hennepin County even pays for you and your family to stay in a hotel while the work is underway. The last good news is how easy it is to apply. Just go to hennepin.us/lead control to get started.
I'm really happy with the program. We can go to bed knowing that our children are safe.
That's hennepin.us/lead control. Tell your friends about it.